Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and when we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have an interesting episode for you guys. You definitely want to stick around for us, so make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as all of you know, Kobe Bryant is my favorite basketball player of all time. I've never hid my feelings about that, right? I've always said it. Kobe is my guy. And I personally believe, and I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I personally believe that Kobe Bryant doesn't get enough respect as some of the other players that we have in the top 10, right? I've seen people give Stephen Curry, who's super great, more credit in the last 2 months that I've heard a lot of people give Kobe Bryant in his career. And I think that's one of the reasons why we've been making a concerted effort on this platform to produce shows around Kobe, especially as of late, right? That's one of the reasons we do. I personally believe that there's been a concerted effort to erase the greatness of Kobe Bryant in the minds of the masses, right? But with this latest development that I just found out this morning, I think some people are finally going to get a chance to see just how much better Kobe Bryant was than the rest of the league when he was in his prime. Because a lot of people seem to be under some type of impression that it was close, that somehow some guys were close to Kobe or they were on the same level, when in reality, he was heads and shoulders above the entire NBA when he was in his prime. And I think this latest news, according to Yahoo Sports, to a yahoosports.com report, I think is going to really shed some light on this. Now, what's the report? The report basically is that LeBron James and Dwayne Wade have basically commissioned a Netflix documentary on the Redeem Team, right? If you guys remember that 2008 Redeem Team. And I just want to read a little bit of what the article has to say here. It says in 2004, a Larry Brown coach USA basketball team was unimpressive on its way to a bronze medal at the Athens Olympics. It led to an overhaul of USA basketball. Jerry Colangelo took over running the organization. Mike Krzyzewski was brought in as coach, and players were asked to give multi-year commitment to the program. That led to the gold medal winning 2008 Redeem Team led by Kobe Bryant and LeBron James. Now LeBron and former Heat and Olympic teammate Dwayne Wade have produced a documentary on that 2008 team. The Redeem Team will debut on October 7 on Netflix. In 2008, I played with heroes of mine, all-stars, friends, and future teammates, Wade said in a statement. Outside of winning and showing the world that we were still the most dominant, our other big challenge was changing the perception of what everyone thought about the NBA and USA basketball. I'm excited for everyone to get an opportunity to go behind the scenes and see all of the work that went into that iconic team. The documentary is done in collaboration with the International Olympic Committee and will be directed by John Weinbach, I hope I pronounced his name properly, a producer on The Last Dance about Michael Jordan and the Bulls. And basically, the article basically continues on to talk about, what they have in the works for that. That documentary. So that's what the Yahoo Sports report had to say. Now, what most people are unaware of was just how much of an embarrassment that 2004 Olympic team was. It was an embarrassment. That team was only able to capture the bronze medal. Think about a Team USA, American basketball team, could not even win a silver medal. They only won the bronze medal that 2014. And what I want to do is tell you the players that were on that roster, because I want people to understand when I say that Kobe Bryant, the premium he gives to a team when he has a decent team, is unlike any other player in his prime. Right. And I'm going to get to a point. And actually, before I get into that roster, there's something I want to say that keeps escaping my mind, but it just finally came to my thought here. I've noticed that a lot of people keep talking about the time that Kobe Bryant blew a 3-1 lead. And I've heard the Nick Wrights and the Shannon Sharpe of the world bring that up. And some of the people that seems to be against Kobe Bryant when he lost to the Phoenix Suns. First of all, when Kobe blew that 3-1 lead, Kobe Bryant shouldn't have even been up 3-1 against that Phoenix Suns team. Why? Because that Phoenix Suns team, I think that was the year that Steve Nash won one of his MVPs. The Lakers were the 8th seed playing against the 1 seed. So they were the underdogs going into that series. When you let these clowns tell you the history. Let them tell you the full history. Kobe was the 8th seed going up against the 1 seed. The 1 seed was supposed to win. The fact that they had him down 3-1 shows you just how great Kobe was. And what you guys need to do while y'all be sitting up there twerking it up all over the place, go look at the roster that Kobe had and go look at the roster that Steve Nash had when they when they won the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, which most people are not aware of. You listen to these clowns tell you the story, you end up saying silly things. So I just want to get that off my chest. Now let me get back to that roster, that 2004 Olympic roster. Let me tell you the players that were on that team. Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, Dwayne Wade, Carlos Boozer, if you remember him, he was a Cleveland Cavalier, hell of a player at the time. Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, Emeka Okafor, Shawn Marion, Mari Stoudemire, Tim Duncan, who a lot of people like to say, oh, Tim Duncan was better than... Tim Duncan was on that team, that bronze medal team. Lamar Odom and Richard Jefferson. That was the 2004 Olympic team. All of your guys that some people like to say, oh, Kobe Bryant was never the best player in the world. Well, these people that you believe and that a lot of people said it was better than Kobe, there they were on full display. And you have an amalgamation of all this talent, of all these great players, and they couldn't even get a bronze medal. So I just want you guys to know who's a part of that 04 team when people like to run around talking slick about, oh, Kobe was in this and this and this. Let me tell you the fundamental difference between that team and the 2008 team. There were 2 fundamental differences. That was the addition, 3 rather. That was the addition of Jason Kidd, Chauncey Billups, and Kobe Bryant. Those were the 2 biggest changes, because if you look at that 08 roster, Carlos Boozer was there. LeBron James was there. They added Darren Williams. You had Michael Reed, who was a 3-point shooter, 2 guard. Dwayne Wade, Dwight Howard, Chris Bosh, Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, and Tayshaun Prince. The major key additions to that team was Jason Kidd and Kobe Bryant. Those were the 2 major additions to that team. All of those other guys, and then of course they got rid of Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan wasn't there, and I don't mean it in any disrespectful way, but those are the 2 major additions to that team. Tim Duncan wasn't even on that team. The Tim Duncan that a lot of you guys like to say was better than Kobe. Yes, Tim Duncan wasn't on that team. Kobe Bryant was on that team. And that was the major difference that they added to that team. And the moment Kobe Bryant was added to that team, everyone immediately knew who the best player in the world was. And the reason I'm emphasizing this particular statement right here is because when you listen to these guys, the Shannon Sharpes, especially the Nick Wrights of the world, they'll be the ones to tell you that Kobe Bryant was this, especially Nick Wright. Because Nick Wright was the first person I ever heard say that at no point in time was Kobe Bryant ever the best player in the world. So what I want to do is we want to play a compilation of audio from the coach, Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski, and he'll tell you just exactly where Kobe ranked among all the stars in the NBA in 2008 and what position and role he played on that team. So before we go too far, I want you guys to take a listen to some of the things that Coach K had to say about Kobe Bryant and some of the things that was said about him during that 08 Redeem team. Take a listen to that.
Coach, do you have any favorite Kobe stories?
Yeah, a number of them. The best one, or one of the best ones, was when we were starting to build a culture at USA Basketball. He, Chauncey Billups, and Jason Kidd were added to add veteran leadership to LeBron and Carmelo, and those guys who were great guys. And so we're getting ready to get ready for Beijing, and so I'm with my staff in Vegas a couple days before the team comes in, and all of a sudden there's a knock on the door. Just 2 days early, and it's Kobe. He said, "Coach, can I talk to you for a minute?" And I said, "Certainly." So we went to a private room, and I said, "What do you need?" He said, I need to ask you a favor." And I said, "Yeah, what is it?" And he said, "I want to guard the best perimeter player on every team that we play." Now, he's the NBA scoring champ. He's the best player in the league at that time. He had 7 50-point games that year. And he knew that he would have to change a little bit and be a leader. But he says, I want to guard the best perimeter player. And then he pauses, and his eyes. He and Jordan had the same eyes. They killed you with their eyes. And he leans forward, and he said, "Coach, I promise you, I'll destroy him." So I got, holy shit. I said, "This is good." So we go and we have a team meeting. In the first practice, he doesn't take a shot. He does not take one shot.
But even when Kobe was trying to blend in, he couldn't help but stand out.
The very first play, the very first scrimmage, there was a loose ball, and here's Kobe Bryant diving on the floor. That set the tone.
Stay over there.
He showed a selflessness right away in telling us, look, I want to play defense.
Oh, come on, Cole.
I want to guard the best offensive player every time.
Ball, look at the ball.
Competes more than I've ever seen anyone in my life. He takes a challenge against everybody.
Ooh, come on.
He's got a different mentality, and that's the mentality of being the best.
Oh, yeah, that's all. Shut up.
I think his presence alone makes us a much tougher team.
But Bryant would also show his teammates that his commitment to excellence extended beyond the court.
Who was there every morning? Kobe Bryant. Working out every morning, hard.
Fourth quarter, 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Kobe's work ethic is out this world. Seeing him work, it just makes all the other players elevate their game to a higher level.
So some of you may be asking, why are you going through all of this? What's the purpose of all of this? You're being sensitive about it. And the joke of it all, the irony of it all, is that you got the most sensitive people telling me that I'm sensitive. This is the joke of it all. People, they can look at a video, see nothing, and then all of a sudden find out, oh, is he talking about my favorite player? These people are the people telling me, that I'm being emotional. First of all, let me just say this. Kobe Bryant fans, Michael Jordan fans are not emotional fans, bro. That's not the fan base. The other fans, they're not. They have a totally different energy, sorry to say. They don't have that type of, I'm always emotional up in my feelings type of energy. They don't carry that type of energy with them. So that's the first thing. Secondly, the reason we're putting in all this effort to do this is simply because we want to dispel the myth that Kobe Bryant was never the best player in the NBA, and that also he wasn't the best for about an 8 to 10 year stretch. Some people may not know that, but for about an 8 to 10 year stretch in the NBA, there was nobody better than Kobe. There was nobody. Forget about what Nick Wright, forget about what Shannon Sharpe is saying. Go watch videos of people that played in that era, that covered that era, and they'll tell you who the best player in the world was. It was Kobe, and there was no denying this. What we're trying to do is this. We're trying to produce as many shows around Kobe Bryant so people have enough information so when they form an opinion about the guy, they're informed. That's really the goal of all of this. That's the goal of all of this. And let me finally close with this. If they tell this story the way it should be told, people will walk away with a totally different impression of Kobe Bryant, and it would make people like the Nick Wrights and the Shannon Sharpes of the world who constantly disrespect Kobe look foolish. If people get to see what actually happened and his real contributions, and they allow the truth to speak for itself, not their opinions and what they want to, the messages that they want to curtail and all of this stuff. If they let the truth speak, people will walk away with a totally different impression, because what I believe is happening with the legacy of Kobe is this. Number one, You have people that are trying to suppress his legacy, and then you have those that are trying to distort it. That is just a flat out real, and this is what I believe in. I'll debate that with anybody. I'll debate that with anybody, and I'll give you one of the reasons why I believe that. If you say that Kobe Bryant is a top 10 player, people's just, well, really? He's a top 10 player? He's real? How is he a top 10? Really? People will be ready to fight with you about Kobe being a top 10 player, but if a top 5 player, but if you mention other players, there's no discussion. When did we get to the point where it became an argument that Kobe wasn't top 5 all time? When did we get to that point? 10 years ago, that would be unheard of. But there's been a concerted effort to strike his name and his greatness off the record books, in my personal opinion. It has gotten to the point now where people that never saw Kobe play in his prime will sit up there and try to argue with you and tell you why he shouldn't be top 5. People that don't have a clue about Kobe Bryant and his greatness will be sitting up there telling you, no, he shouldn't be a top 5 player. In my opinion, Kobe Bryant is top 3. You saw Mad Dog Russo and and Stephen A. Smith arguing about it. You heard them go back and forth. Stephen A. Smith didn't have one single argument for why he had LeBron in the top 3. His only reason was, you ain't got him in the top 3? You ain't got him in the top 3? Do you know how much money he made? That's all he said. But if you come to me, you give me an argument, I can argue back at you. So these are my points. These are my thoughts and opinions. What I want to know from you guys is, let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you think this documentary is going to do any good for the legacy of Kobe Bryant. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section. We'll catch you guys on the next episode.